Hello everyone, Space Oyster here, and welcome back to Charmander Conquers Platinum, or Sinnoh, or whatever. In the last part, we made our way to Solaceon Town, where we got Defog as an HM. We also cleared a tower that gave us an item to boost the ghost-type moves we're totally not using, and something that makes wild encounters less likely to happen, which is also not all that useful for us. Anyway, in this part, we will be moving on with the story. Well, what story there is. We're basically just gonna make it to the next town where there's a gym and possibly defeat the gym. Anyway, but before we can do that, we must show that this Ponyta that we have rage. And rage we shall. We shall continue to rage. We have successfully raged. Yay, Yoga Pun gained lots of the EXPs. Alrighty. Moving on. Alright, anyway. We probably need to heal Land Shark, and I know it would be faster, or, well, not faster, but the Pokemon Center's right there. We could just easily go back, but I don't feel like it. Anyway, up here, double battle. Oh my goodness. So that means we're gonna have to use Land Shark and Plant Pun. Unless we have to swap one of them out. Pikachu and Clefairy, oh, that's not that dangerous. Okay. So, let's go ahead and just focus down Clefairy, because I do not see Pikachu being a problem. Yeah, and since this is Generation 4, Clefairy is a normal type, not a fairy type, because the fairy type does not exist yet. Let's see, I believe at that low of an HP stat, we can just have Plant Pun finish it off while Land Shark gets started on the Pikachu. Woohoo! Alrighty! And Pikachu, yeah, grass resists electric, so that's one useful advantage the ass type has. Meanwhile, Plant Pun was faster than Clefairy, so we don't need to worry about that either. Yay for strategizing! Alrighty, and we got more rage of the dragons. Alright, and unfortunately, yeah, Plant Pun is not gaining enough experience to level up yet. But we will get there, folks. We will get there. And we'll get there by using a super potion on her. Alright, anyway, let's get off this bike, because I hate riding it. Let's see. Oh, another battle. I was not expecting that. Let's see. And he's got a fluffy Pokemon. Oh my goodness, he's got two fluffy Pokemon. Elekid? Elekid's not fluffy. Wait, is Elekid fluffy? Now I don't actually know. Well, whatever. It's not doing that much damage to us. And we poisoned it. Yay! Poison is just very, very useful. Alrighty. And unfortunately, we're not doing that much damage back, but we'll get there. We will get there. Alrighty. Now, how could you get paralyzed, Plant Pun? Oh, this is a disaster. The shortest route to the Pokemon Center has a trainer battle I have not dealt with yet. Well, I guess fully paralyzed twice in a row. Just my luck. This is Pokemon after all. Murphy's Law is the only law that these people know. Which is why we've been paralyzed 3 times in a row. That's fine. Elekid can't deal damage and it's poisoned, so we'll be fine. Oh, what? We finally get to attack after 4 turns. Or on the 4th turn. Whatever. 4 is the new 4 is the new 3. 4th time's the charm. And yay, there's our level up. Okay. Let's see. Happini. Happini's just plain pathetic. I think we should be fine. Especially since it's using charm. Anyway, if you're not in the know about Happini, Happini was the newly introduced baby form of Chansey. So, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about it. Let's see, let's go ahead and swap out, actually. Yeah, let's go for Yoga Pun. Anyway, so Happini does reward a lot of EXPs when it is defeated, and the only way to evolve it is you have to have it hold an oval stone and then have it gain a level. And then that is how you get a Chansey out of a Happini. Or you could just find a wild Chansey, that works too. The other interesting thing to note about Happini is entirely personal to me, but I encountered a shiny one when I was playing Pokemon Scarlet. I tried to use it, but it was mostly just a bench warmer the whole time. And Plant Pun still hasn't evolved. Oh my goodness. I get the feeling this thing is never gonna evolve. Why do I even bother waiting to record until it's time for it to be able to possibly evolve? Maybe. Unless I'm recording too early. I do not know. I'm pretty sure it's morning. Well, I mean, it is morning for me. I just woke up. Anyway, let's battle these two, and then we can make it back to the Pokemon Center. Alrighty, double battles galore! Although, having consistent double battle strategies in your repertoire, that would be a more viable thing to do if, and this is a pretty big if, there were more double battles, or if every battle was a double battle. I mean, if every battle was a double battle, that would just make things a lot more interesting, don't you think? If only someone had thought to try that. Would also make for a neat option to have in some games. Anyway, with Fire Pun out, we should be able to make short work of these ponies. We're gonna have them both target the Rapid Dash, because if one can't KO it, the other will, and Fire Pun was faster, so that was neat. Alrighty. And of course, Yoga Pun gets lots of the EXPs. And since Rapidash was a fully evolved Pokemon, it rewards lots of EXPs. It's also massively underleveled. Ponyta does not evolve until level 40-ish. Oh my goodness. Alright, there we go. Double doses of the Dragon Rages, and we are Gouda. And yeah, I remember way back when I said I was going to try and go light on Dragon Rage, but now we're at the point where pretty much you would have natural access to Dragon Rage. I don't have to feel bad about it. Alright, here is Solaceon. Oh, right, there is something I forgot to show off. Let's heal up first. Alrighty, let's see here. Beep, 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 beep. Yay, we have been beep beeped and boop boop bopped. Okay. Alright, so the thing I wanted to show off is right over here. Now, let's see, this guy here. Oh, welcome. You saw the notice outside about us hiring, right? Oh no, I didn't look at it. Is that a Pokédex there? Then you must know Professor Rowan. You're just the Pokemon searching expert we've been looking for. Goodbite, I want you to bring me one. You must bring it today, or we're not going to be able to run our main article. I'll pay you with a heart scale and some Pokeballs for it. Oh, yeah, so that is basically the main function for that this place. You bring that guy a Pokemon each day, he'll give you a heart scale and Pokeballs. I think the Pokeballs he can give you are randomized. I remember one playthrough he gave me Quick Balls, and Quick Balls are one of the best types of Pokeballs to get, because they work better on the first turn you use it. So it can basically make any encounter a one-turn thing. You just throw the Quick Ball right away, and usually you catch it. It depends on the Pokemon, though. Let's see. Well, I mean, it can depend on the Pokemon. You'll usually get lucky enough, though. Let's see. But anyway, yeah, the heart scales are also important because there is a move relearner in a town that I forgot the name of. And that guy can teach your Pokemon moves they may have forgotten, or older moves that are in their move pool. So, in more recent games, that is much easier to do. In Sword and Shield, they put that guy in every single Pokemon Center. And in Scarlet and Violet, you don't even need to go to a Pokemon Center. You can do that from the menu. Alrighty, and then I think for once we're actually going to let's use Takedown, it's more accurate. Wait, no, I should not have used Takedown. Magby has Flame Body. No, we have been burned. I should have seen that coming. Now if I take down again, Landshark won't deal as much damage. Oh no. Let's just Dragon Rage the Togepi, which means another trip back to the Pokemon Center. Hooray! Encore? Well, I was going to use Dragon Rage again anyway. But yeah, anyway, so that guy is there, so that way you have a consistent access to a daily heart scale, and you can therefore have a good chunk of them to reteach moves to your Pokemon as should you need to. Hold on. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Alright, back to the Pokemon Center we go, because burns, and I don't have enough status healing items on me, and I don't want to burn through my berries. Well, I mean, I probably should just use the berries, but I should also just get into the habit of planting them if I plan to, like, stop near a berry place where I can plant them, and then when I go back to recording, then they'll be available. Or I can just harvest them off screen, whatever works. Alrighty. Anywhoozin', let us continue on our way. Oh, right, I need to get on my bike for that. Bike! Okay, and now, first, take note of these Psyducks. The Psyduck are standing firm. They aren't inclined to move at all. They will be important later. Also, this building, not as important, but it's still around. It's full of trainers for you to beat the snot out of, including this waitress. Her name is Katie. Alright, anyway, the other important thing that we will get to in a smidgen bit is that this place you can buy an item called Moo Moo Milk, which is a pretty strong healing item. And what's more notable about it is that I think it restores as much HP as a Hyper Potion, while also being significantly cheaper than Hyper Potions. So the counterbalance to that is they're pretty much out of the way. You have to go to this isolated area in order to get more Moo Moo Milk, which won't be easy to do on a whim if you do not have Fly. Why did I forget the name of Fly? That is not a difficult thing to remember. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and drop Hidden Power from Yogapun. I don't think he really needs it anymore, especially now that he has a fighting type move. Alright. Anyway, here is the lady you can buy Moo Moo Milk. 500 for a single bottle, or she lets you buy a dozen. Oh, I bought one bottle. I wanted to buy a dozen. Well, just go ahead and buy a dozen. 1 dozen. Thank you. Moo Moo Milks. Now we have lots of healing items. What about you? Are you gonna battle us, sir? Oh, no. He's the guy who runs the place. Alright. And that guy just gives us exposition, which means the only other battlers are these two. He's a collector and he loves honey. Nobody tell him how impossible it is to actually get good Pokemon from the trees. Never mind, he already got the toughest one to get, Munchlax. So, Munchlax is pretty much impossible to encounter from the trees. So, Munchlax can only show up in one of 4 trees. Or, well, no, it can show up in any 4 trees. Which 4 trees? Any 4 trees. It's determined the moment you start your game up. So if you want to capture a Munchlax, you first have to figure out what trees those are, and there's not really a good way to do that. You just have to keep slathering honey on every single honey tree. Why am I even using that move? It has missed twice in a row. The accuracy is pathetic. Let us just spam Dragon Rage. Anyway, so 4 honey trees. There is a 1% chance that Munchlax will appear on a 1% chance Munchlax will appear in any of those trees when you slather honey on them. It's gonna use Swallow and Heal. Oh, no, it didn't do that. Okay, anyway, so yeah, Munchlax has such ridiculously low odds of even being encountered that you are unlikely to ever even see a wild Munchlax in this generation, much less catch it. I mean, once you found it, you probably got it caught, just save and all that fun stuff. Another rare one is Heracross. Heracross's trees aren't quite as tedious as Munchlax's, but Heracross is still a pretty rare encounter. And since it paralyzed us with 1 use of Lick, 30% chance if you can believe that. Anyway, we'll have to go back to the Pokemon Center. But yeah, Heracross also has a very low encounter rate, only on honey trees, but it's much higher than Munchlax because it can appear on more trees than Munchlax can. I believe there are specific encounter tables for honey trees, so you can slather honey on, and then based on the thing you find, you can try and narrow it down to what type of tree it is, and even the Munchlax trees have specific encounter tables. But that's still, yeah, that still makes it very, very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. I wouldn't even bother trying to use Munchlax in an in-game playthrough, because there is no guarantee you'll ever even see one. Well, I mean, there is a guarantee you'll see one, because your rival eventually catches one, so you'll definitely see one and all that fun stuff. Oh wait, yeah, I spoiled it. Barry somehow gets a Munchlax. Mr. I can't hold still for 2 seconds had enough patience to get the rarest honey tree Pokemon ever. Ever. Somehow. And yeah, I think that guy in Diamond, Pearl, and or Pearl. No, just Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and or Pearl, I think he has something other than a Munchlax. So if you're playing Diamond and Pearl, I think Barry might be the only access to seeing one. But I'm not 100% sure. If that guy does have a Munchlax in Diamond and Pearl, then Barry didn't even need to have a Munchlax, and they didn't even need to bother. Bother. Anyway, this guy had a Heracross. That's neat. Heracross is one of those nifty Pokemon. I always liked it, but I've never really used it much in an in-game playthrough. Or ever, really. Probably should get around to doing that. Heracross seems very neat. Alright, anyway. Since we only lost HP, we can pop into our healing items. Oh yeah, I can compare the numbers on the Moo Moo Milk now to be absolutely sure. Okay, Super Potions are 50, Hyper Potions are 200, Moo Moo Milks are 100. Okay, but they only cost 500, which I think is even cheaper than a Super Potion. I don't remember the price of a Super Potion. But yeah. Okay, anyway, moving on. Oh, right, and I well, not completely, but I didn't actually highlight it for that much importance. But Yogapun has finally learned Force Palm, and that is its first fighting type move, or physical fighting type move if that happens to be its hidden power type. Which means Yogapun now has stab access to a physical move, so it can deal lots of damage now. Lots more damage. That is very important for, well, I guess it's just very important. Anyway, the other important thing to note is that this route, it is going to be raining the entire time we are on this route. It will never, ever let up. And that is very, very bad because our starter is Charmander, and Charmander uses fire-type moves. So rain as a weather condition has a plethora of effects. It boosts the power of water-type moves while reducing the power of fire-type moves. In addition to that, while it is raining, the move Thunder will never miss. Ever. Anyway, and this Pokemon right here, this is Shieldon. It is one of the 2 fossils, the other being Cranidos. So, yeah, and I think in Diamond and Pearl, the fossils are version exclusive. I think Diamond gets Cranidos and Pearl gets Shieldon. Why did I go for... Oh, right, I know why I went for Dragon Rage, because Sand Tomb can't hit. It has 0 accuracy and will never, ever hit. Ever. Anyway, what was I going on about? I don't remember. Well, anyway, Shieldon isn't really all that good. I would not recommend going out of your way to find it, even if it is available in Diamond, Platinum. I believe both fossils are available in Platinum. I'm pretty confident I've used Cranidos in-game before, but I don't remember if that was on Platinum. But either way, if you have the option, go for Cranidos, skip out on the other one. Yay, it's raining. Or boo, I don't really care. Okay. Unfortunately, we're running low on Dragon Rages, so Sharkpun won't be able to battle that much more if we run completely out. Because getting more Dragon Rage uses is tedious. That requires a trip back to the Pokemon Center. Which I think we're going to have to do anyway. Yeah, because I don't want to have to go through the route relying on Takedown and Sand Tomb. Although, if I do time it right, I think we can have exactly 2 of them to work with for the last battle of the route. So, let's switch to Takedown, see how that does. Ooh, nearly a 1-hit KO. The only downside with Takedown is, as you saw, it deals recoil damage. So, I'm definitely going to be burning through my healing items. And Takedown also does not have 100% accuracy, so it's going to miss more often than not, which is the other disadvantage to using it. But we will make it through, folks, one way or the other. We got this, fam. Alrighty. I could also just put Plant Pun in the front, because Plant Pun and Land Shark are at the same level, but I prefer to be consistent about it. I'm gonna get Land Shark a level first, so that way Plant Pun gets, walking around friendship experience points. Anyway, this guy gave us a TM66. That is for the move Payback. As he explained, use it after the foe and its power gets doubled. It is a dark type move. I don't remember if anything important learns it, and that's not the point. What is the point is we're gonna cut down this tree. So, I think that also puts a hairline fracture in how necessary cut is for getting through the game. So far, we've only needed it to get access to the Team Noun base in Second Gym Town. I forgot the name of it, so we're just gonna call it the Second Gym Town. Anyway, yeah, that's the only time we've ever needed to use cut. Why did I put air quotes around needed? Because we actually did need to use it. Beyond that, it's all been optional. So, yeah. I guess I don't really need to worry about teaching Cut to anything after we bench Bidoof. Also, Machop has just identified us. Foresight. I don't think I've already gone over it, but just in case I haven't, what Foresight does, it does two things. First, it makes it so moves that normally can't hit a Pokemon because of their type. The main example being using fighting and normal type moves against a ghost type, it makes it so those moves will work. So in this situation, Land Shark can now be hit by electric type moves. Not that it would do any good because it still resists them being half dragon. Anyway, the other thing Foresight does, which is much more useful for an in-game playthrough than anything else, is it removes evasion boosts. It basically resets all those to 0. Which is very, very handy because it essentially allows you to negate what your opponent has been doing. And I do believe it is unaffected by evasion checks, so it should always work. Well, that was lucky. We got 2 critical hits in a row. Anyway, so it's a reliable way to reset evasion if your opponent happens to be spamming something like Double Team, and their name happens to be Barry, and I happen to hate them. Anyway. Yeah, I probably should have been using Takedown a lot more often. Ooh, a Fist Plate. The power of defeated giants infuses this plate. So the Fist Plate is like the Mind Plate, but it works for fighting type moves instead of psychic type moves. There's a plate for every type, and I don't know if I already mentioned it, but yeah, anyway, they go with Arceus, or Arceus. Yeah, I definitely did mention it, because I remember making that or observation already. Whatever, yeah. So, that will turn Arceus into a fighting type Pokemon if it is held. I think most of the time, though, Arceus just sticks to being a normal type critter, because using other held items tends to be more helpful to it. Swagger? You're going to swagger me? How dare you? Actually, seeing Krogunk here reminds me of its other ability, which would be really useful. So, Krogunk, the other ability Krogunk can have is called Dry Skin. So, Dry Skin will make it heal if it's ever hit by a water-type move, restore health when it's raining, and give it a weakness to fire-type moves. So, yeah, it's a very neat ability. I kind of wish it saw more use, but as far as I know, Krogunk and Paris are the only evolutionary families that get it. There might be others, I don't know. It's very interesting on Paris and Parasect, because that weakness to fire that they get from Dry Skin compounds on their quadruple weakness they already have to fire, making them one of the very few Pokemon to have a quintuple weakness, which is a completely useless piece of trivia. Alright, anyway, we are going to give the EXP share to our Plant Pun now, because I do believe if it gains, as it gains more experience, it should get happier than just running around with the Soothe Bell. I do not know for sure. What I do know for sure is I'm going to give the Fist Plate to our Yoga Pun, so that way he deals more damage with Force Palm, which I suspect is what he will be using most of the time. Now a Staravia. Yeah, the grass is so sparse on this route that I don't think we really need to use a repel. Should probably consider it though, because running into Staravia, it takes a bit. Anyway, so the neat thing about Staravia is it has Intimidate. That is the only ability Staravia can have, so when Starly evolves, it'll always get Intimidate. And I think Starly can only ever have Keen Eye, so it's one of the many reliable Pokemon who will only have a single ability, so you don't need to encounter it, hope it has the right ability, get frustrated when it doesn't, rinse, repeat, ad nauseum. Well, let's also heal up Garchomp. sorry, Gabite. It's not a Garchomp. It will probably never be a Garchomp. I do not know if I should be stating that definitively. It actually evolves at a pretty low level. It'll be a Garchomp at level 48. Most Pokemon with Garchomp's stat line, which makes it a pseudo-legendary because it's 600, most of them usually evolve in the level 50-ish range, but Garchomp, or Gabite hits Garchomp at level 48, so very neat stuff there. Anyway, I believe this guy has Metatites. Although, the only downside to giving the EXP share to Landshark now, rather than giving it... giving the EXP share to Plant Pun instead of Landshark is that Landshark is now going to be battling a lot more, and we're starting to also run low on takedowns, and we really cannot rely on the other move. And I think the other move is just Sandstorm, which isn't going to really do anything for us. So maybe I should have given the EXP share to Landshark. Oh well, we're gonna leave it on Plant Pun. We're going to make do. Landshark should have enough power points to get us to the next town, and if she does not, well, we have a Fire Pun and a Yoga Pun we can also rely on. Fire Pun even knows Dragon Rage too. Alright, anyway. Let's take down Machop. Yay, we have taken down Machop. Okay. Although, if I keep using Landshark in the lead and with the EXP share on Plant Pun, Landshark is probably going to hit level 30 before Plant Pun does, which would be neat, but it depends on their experience groups and how much experience they need to gain their levels. So experience groups is, well, experience groups basically is exactly what I just said, how much experience it takes for them to gain a level. So yeah, never mind. I didn't need to specify those as two different things. Anyway, so Pokemon in the fast experience group, I think they always gain, they always need a little amount of experience to level up. And most Pokemon in that group are bug types, so Wurmple in this game would probably be an example of that. And then in the medium group, well, actually first, medium fast group, the Pokemon would need a medium or a fair bit of experience in order to gain a level in the early game, or early on, and then as you get closer to the end game, or as they gain more levels, they don't require nearly as much. Alright, I don't know if there's anything on the other side of that grass. We'll have to check. Anyway, over here is an important TM. Or I say it's important, but I don't know how important it is. TM34, Shockwave. I believe that is the first electric type move we get access to, the only one we are guaranteed to get access to. And it is one of those moves that can never miss, which makes it very, very useful. Alright, anyway. Repel time! Oh, there is an item up here. Hooray! And it's an HP up. Okay. Now, you know what? I don't really care about using HP up, so I'll actually go ahead and pop that on Plant Pun to boost its friendliness. There we go. So that'll give it 10 stat EXPs towards HP. And then the way effort values work in Generation 4 is the Pokemon doesn't actually apply its effort values to its stats until it gains a level. So if you were to feed your Pokemon a bunch of vitamins or boost all their stats and give them the full amount of stats they can get before they reach level 100 or their next level or whatever we're going on about, then then when the Pokemon gains that level, you would see a very significant boost in the stats you were training up. So that can be funny sometimes in Generation 4. I believe I think that was also in Generation 5, and then in Generation 6 onward, the stat just increased. Oh, that's the type of trainer you're gonna be. Okay then. Fine then, I'll just KO you with my Yoga Puns. So, yeah, Whirlwind. Whirlwind and Roar are other moves the AI simply loves to make use of when they have them. They force you to swap out. And they are very, very annoying moves especially to run into, especially if you're doing a solo challenge or a speed run or what have you, simply because they send out a Pokemon you don't want to use or they waste your time. If you're doing a speed run, you can get around that by just having only the Pokemon you need to use on you, but you do need to map out when it's safe to deposit your other Pokemon or get them KO'd or whatever. Anyway. Yeah. Yay, full heal. Okay. And I did see a speed run of Platinum recently, and apparently these two trainers here are very annoying, or very dangerous. They marked these guys out specifically as being dangerous, or it was just one of them. I don't remember which. Anyway. Gligar and Roselia. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Alright, well, let's go ahead and use takedowns on the Roselia, and let's try Mega Draining the Gligar. There we go, there we go. Alright, so far so good. And Feint Attack. Oh, wait, this is Generation 4. That's a physical move. Oh, no. Oh, I didn't do much. Toxic Spikes. Well, now, that is interesting. So, Toxic Spikes, that is an entry hazard. So, entry hazards, as the name suggests, they deal damage they do their effect whenever a new Pokemon enters the battle. So in Toxic Spike's case, it's going to deal damage or not deal damage. It will poison any new Pokemon that I send out, if and only if it is on the ground. So, so if I sent out Starly, it wouldn't get affected by. Oh, thank God, we're learning Slash. Now we don't have to rely on Takedown. Anyway, so if I sent out Starly, it would not get poisoned because the Toxic Spikes are on the ground. But if I send in Yoga Pun or Fire Pun, they would get poisoned. The other interesting interaction with Toxic Spikes is if you send out a Poison-type Pokemon, it doesn't actually get affected by them. In fact, they absorb the Toxic Spikes and thus remove them from your field. Toxic Spikes also, if you set down a second layer, or I think you have to get up to 2 or 3 layers, whichever. Anyway, after you set up 2 or 3 layers, the status condition will upgrade from inflicting poison to inflicting toxic. So the difference between toxic and poison is, toxic starts by draining a little less HP at the start. Oh, you're gonna spam double team. That's the way you want to play. Anyway, it'll drain a little less HP than poison does at the start, but it'll gradually increase more and more as the battle goes on. So the longer you survive while being toxic, the worse it gets. Alright, and hopefully this Dragon Rage is a KO, because if it does not, then we either have to swap Land Shark out, or Plant Pun will have to get the KO. Ugh. Although Drifblim is using Gust on Plant Pun, so very awkward situation. Okay. And we don't want Plant Pun to get KO'd, because that will reduce its friendship with us. So, here is my evil plan. I think if we set up a sandstorm, Driftblim has just enough HP to not be able to survive that. And then if we send out the Starly, well, it doesn't get affected by poison spikes, but I guess I don't really care about that because I'm just bringing it in to get KO'd. And the reason why I wanted to bring Starly in to get KO'd is because stalling tactic. Stalling tactic. Oh, right, it gives me a free opportunity to switch Plant Pun back in. And Plant Pun is half poison, so it's going to remove the poison spikes they set up. And now we can slash Lickitung. We can swap Plant Pun back out. We're going to go for our Fire Pun, since I imagine Driftblim is going to still use Gust, and Yoga Pun, as a fighting type, is weak to Gust. Alrighty. And Lickitung is boosting its physical defense, which is very annoying. Alright, but the Sandstorm did its job. Driftblim is now taken care of. And I think he'll either send Gligar back out, or he's going to go for whatever other Pokemon he has waiting in the wings. No, that's Gligar. Alright, Gligar also has a high physical defense. So let's go ahead and hit Sand Tomb on Lickitung, and let's Dragon Rage Gligar. Because unlike Land Shark, Fire Pun has plenty of rage. And of course, Land Shark missed. Ugh. Now the Lickitung attacks. Well, whatever. Oh, right, and I think having Sandstorm set up actually activates Land Shark's ability, which is the Sand Veil, so it has boosted evasion. I don't know if it's possible to make it so your opponents can't hit your Pokemon at all. I have never actually tried to boost my evasion that much. Oh my goodness, Sand Tomb actually hit? Anyway, Sand Tomb, it does not deal that much damage. What's neat about it is that it is a trapping move. So it would prevent Lickitung from being able to swap out if it wasn't that person's last Pokemon. But more importantly than that, it deals damage at the end of every turn. Alright, so we're going to slash the Weasel, and I believe Fire Pun's going to get KO'd by... Oh wait, no, Fire Pun might not get KO'd by the Weasel if we focus it down! Oh, wait, no, it's Aqua Jet. I should have seen that coming. We survived! We survived! Dragon Rage! And then Land Shark can slash Weasel to finish it off. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to use Sand Tomb despite its terrible accuracy and pitiful attack, because it deals damage at the end of every turn, so that is a way for me to build up damage on the Lickitung, even though I'm not actually attacking it. Alright. Oh, wow, I thought the rain was going to replace the Sandstorm now that it faded, but no, it looks like we don't have to deal with the weather anymore. That is also neat. Anyway, yeah, those two are actually very difficult to overcome. Very challenging trainers, surprisingly. Or maybe not surprisingly, because this isn't your kid's Pokemon, this is your dad's Pokemon. Or Pokemon game, where things are actually difficult-ish. And, yeah, Plant Pun gained a level, and it still hasn't evolved. Maybe I should just drop it sooner rather than later. Although, dropping it would require me to go very far out of my way, because the Pokemon I want to replace it with is very far out of my way. But you know what? I think I can pull it off. We're here in Veilstone City. So, Veilstone City has the 3rd gym. And we found a star piece that sells for money. Anyway, The third gym is here. It is not very queer, but we will get used to it. So, the third gym uses fighting type Pokemon, mainly. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take that EXP share off Plant Pun and deposit it, because I think I am actually going to take the long way around and see if I can get to the other Pokemon I wanted to use. It's quite a bit out of the way, so I will want to, well, actually, I don't need to deposit Plant Pun, so I guess I could leave the EXP share on it. You know what? New plan. I'm gonna put the EXP share onto Land Shark, and we'll see if we can make it to the spot that the other Pokemon I want to use is at. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's see. Oh, right, I remember why I was thinking of depositing Plant Pun. And I think we have to have it deposited. I don't feel like checking. All right, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and deposit Plant Pun. Yeah, actually, I think this might be usable, or feasible. Let's see. So, Plant Pun, you have done your duty, but I think your job is done. We shall see soon enough. Here. Okay. Sorry, I am stalling a lot for some reason, and I don't even know why. Anyway, I believe in one of these two buildings, I want to say this one, you can get a new Pokemon if you're interested. You're a trainer, aren't you? You see, there's this Pokemon I'd like someone to look after. It's a Pokemon called Porygon. I found it near Team Galactic's building. I'm no trainer, so can you take it off my hands? Yes, I can. Excellent, thanks. That'll make the Porygon happy too. I suspect it ran away from those Team Galactic goons. Yes, Porygon. So, Porygon is a new Pokemon. Well, it's not new. It's been around since Generation 1. It's new to you, though, because this is the first time I've seen it, or used it in this game. Anyway, so, yeah, Porygon, very neat Pokemon. Unfortunately, it only evolves by trading. In fact, it evolves by trading twice. But it is worth using because the items you need to evolve it are the upgrade and then the dubious disc. And both of them are available on an in-game playthrough, so if you want to use Porygon's evolved forms, Porygon 2 and then Porygon Z, you can do that in Platinum, as long as you have a way to evolve it. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. It is so laggy. Let's see. So yeah, potions. Yeah, 700 for a super potion, and it heals half as much as those thingies we bought earlier. Wait, did I see full heals? I did. We're buying the crap out of those. Let's be more reserved. Let's buy 21. And then I need to make sure I have Pokeballs, because we might be able to catch a new Pokemon that I want to use. Oh my goodness, they sell Ultra Balls? Actually, I heard a great investment for your money is Great Balls. That Ultra Balls are a bit of a waste. I do not know, but we're just gonna buy a bunch of Great Balls. That'll be great, right? Right. All right, anyway. So next, I did plan on challenging the gym and then ending things off there, but I think instead I'll see if I can loop around and catch the next Pokemon I wanted to use. In fact, if I time it right, I can catch the next two. All right, but I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we need to get Plant Pun back. We might have need of her assets. If we run into water types, she is our best bet against them. Maybe, potentially not though, because we can just Dragon Rage water types. Did I say grass types? I meant water types. Anyway, we'll go ahead and put Plant Pun here, and yeah. I don't really care to give it back that Soothe Bell. And next, we need, let's see. This would be easier with a town map, but I don't have a town map. So, the route we need to take is we need to head south of this city and go to the next town, which I just remembered the name of. It's Pastoria City. Alright, anyway, can we avoid this trainer? We cannot. Alrighty, well, whatever. There, behind you. Don't try to spook me. I already believe in ghosts. Psychic Abigail. Chingling. Okay, so Chingling is another baby Pokemon that was introduced in this generation. It is the baby form of Chimecho. Chimecho was a Pokemon introduced in Generation 3, so it only needed to be around for one generation before it got a baby form. In any case, Chimecho is not a very good Pokemon. I used it on my first playthrough of Diamond, and it did adequately enough. I think it one-shot one of the Elite Four's Pokemon, which was neat. Lucky Chant. Oh, that just prevents me from getting critical hits? Well, joke's on you. I don't care if I get a critical hit. Alrighty, anyway. And Drifloon. So, Drifloon is a ghost type, and Halliwind works on Fridays. I am pretty sure I would have mentioned it because they mentioned it specifically in game that the balloon Pokemon may start showing up again. And this is the balloon Pokemon. Its Pokédex entries are also creepy. It steals the souls of children. Alright, anyway, we're gonna see if we can make it to our destination without any more battles, because I want to save the EXPs for the next Pokemon I want to use. But before we do that, in this cave. Everyone calls me the Ruin Maniac. I don't care what they call me. I'll just keep on chipping away at the rock wall little by little. Do you know why? I'm a Ruin Maniac who's fascinated by the unknown. I know it's a little sudden, but how about you and me have a race? You go and catch the unknown, and I'll keep digging away. We'll have a race to see who can get done faster. But yeah, that's the guy I was talking about in the last part, who wants you to capture all of the unknown before he digs his wall. But more importantly is the TM for Dig. So Dig is a very neat move. It's a 2-turn attack, and so you dig underground, and then you usually dodge whatever your opponent was going to do. And then you go above ground, and you hit the opponent. In Generation 1, it had 100 base power, which made it just as strong as Earthquake. And unlike Earthquake, it was actually easily available. Actually, I think Earthquake was easily available too, just later on. But none of that is important. What is important is that there is a trainer right here we have to battle. Let's just kick his butt. Yeah, I think the speedrunners actually go the other way because all the trainers on the other part of the route are easily avoidable. But I am not speedrunning, I'm just trying to get to the next Pokemon I want to catch. Anyway, and I would teach Dig to land Shark here, so we'd finally have a good ground type move to use, but I don't actually care. Yeah, I guess I could teach Dig to something else, though. I'll have something else to actually teach Dig to, but we'll get to that. We will get to it. Alright, anywhoozin'. Yeah. So that takes care of that. Well, I guess I could actually drop Land Shark for another Pokemon that I was planning on getting soonish. We will see. We will see. Woo! We avoided that guy. And now... Oh, Repel's effect wore off. Okay, yeah, and apparently you can tell when a Repel is working because the game will hiccup a bit when you're supposed to run into a battle, but the Repel prevents the battle from occurring. Let's see, and then here is the resort. The restaurant is open after a certain time every day. I forget which. We can actually check to see if it's open now. I am so sorry. We are now closed. Please do visit while we are open. It would be helpful if you told me when you were open. Anyway, the restaurant, they open... When they are open, there will be a bunch of customers there who will challenge you to double battles. because they'll be eating in pairs, you can challenge them to double battles. I always found it a neat place to grind for the EXPs back when I was a little, a much younger person. Oh no, I ran right into her. Anyway, so yeah, that is a neat place to keep in mind. The trainers there do scale, so the more badges you get, the tougher they'll be. And yeah, since I think I'm going to want to try and replace Plant Pun soon. I'm not going to worry about feeding it experience points anymore. I will send it out if I do need to, but I'm otherwise going to try and focus all my attention now on Land Shark, Yoga Pun, and Fire Pun. And I might actually be dropping Land Shark sooner than I expected to, but we will see. We will see. Okay. Well, then again, I do need something to Rock Smash. And speaking of Rock Smash, there is something to Rock Smash over here. But we're gonna have to battle this lady first. She is a spinner trainer, so she would be able to spin around, and we wouldn't have to battle her right now. But we're just gonna battle her right now anyway. She is a beauty, and she has a glam meow. How glamorous. Anyway, but yeah, the Pokemon I intend to drop Bidoof for is something that should be useful against water types, and since the gym right after the one in Veilstone is a water type gym, I will need that Pokemon's help sooner rather than later. So, being able to catch it sooner rather than later, and then feed it experience points, will make it much more useful for me. Anyway. Yay! Bidoof has Bidoofed the rock. And now we have TM40, Aerial Ace. So, Aerial Ace is like Shockwave. It's a move with 60 base power that cannot miss, ever. So don't even try to miss with it. I'll know if you do. In any case, well, I mean, it will miss if they use Fly or Dig. That's not the point. The point is, it's a physical move, it's flying, it doesn't miss, so it is very handy to have access to, because then you can just use it to make sure you can hit those pesky evasion spamming people, who I hate very much. Anyway, since we are getting close to Pastoria City, we will be able to capture another Pokemon that I intended to use. And you know what? We will drop Bidoof, because I've invested a lot in Landshark. I want to keep her around for a little bit longer. So, here, this is the Safari Zone. I just realized it was probably stupid of me to spend all my money, but we have enough money to go in. Alright, so for the Generation 4 version of the Safari Zone, you can use these telescopes, or binoculars, to see, get examples or see what Pokemon are available where. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Alright, and I think I saw the one I want. So, next we go into the Safari Zone, which is called the Great Marsh for some reason. So, just like the Safari Zone in the Kanto region and the Hoenn region, while you're doing a Safari game, you cannot battle the Pokemon. Yeah, you can't battle the Pokemon, you can only throw Safari Balls, run away, or throw other things at them. Alright, and yeah, that's not the zone I was looking for. But that is the Pokemon I was looking for. Say hello to Wooper! Yes, I am going to use Wooper, because I do not believe Wooper gets a lot of love in this generation. So while Wooper is actually an extremely popular Pokemon, to the point where it got a Paldean form, and its Paldean form's evolution, Clodsire, is the most popular thing to ever exist ever, Wooper itself, I don't think it gets used a lot in Generation 4, or at least I wouldn't recommend it too much, because while it has an excellent type combination in water and ground, let's see, we are going to go with the nickname I used in Scarlet. Anyway, its excellent type combination gives it only one weakness to grass-type moves, and grass is ass, so that's very easy to deal with. But the other thing that makes Wooper ill-advised in this specific generation is that you can actually get earlier access to a different Pokemon with the exact same type combination, who is arguably better. That Pokemon being Shellos. So Shellos evolves into the water ground type Gastrodon, and since it's available earlier, since it's available earlier, you could just use that if you really needed a water ground type to use, which is why I opted to use Wooper, since it's since it's available later and is more ill-advised considering how many water types there are in this region. Wooper probably didn't get used much in Generation 4, so I'm gonna use it. Anyway, we'll go ahead and swap Bidoof out, and if we need to Rock Smash, we can teach it to either, I think Wooper can get it, or I can pop it on Landshark for a bit. Sorry, Super! That is going to be her nickname. Alright, and we're also going to take that held item, the EXP share, away from you. We're going to give it to our Super! Alright, but I think for now I'm going to leave Landshark in the front. So that way if we run into any wild Pokemon, Landshark will be able to escape from them. And Landshark is also higher leveled, so if we use repels, those will work better too. I would always recommend picking berries as soon as possible. Nana berry. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so Wooper, I don't think Gastrodon has stats that are any better than Quagsire's, so they should be pretty much interchangeable, but Gastrodon would be more recommended over to Quagsire, simply because of its earlier availability, and Shellos, at the level you can catch it, also has some pretty good moves. Anyway, this is the move tutor. So he is the guy you give heart scales to, and you give him a heart scale, he'll teach one of your Pokemon a move it may have already an older move, so very, very useful there. Speaking of teaching the moves, I'm gonna see, not Earthquake, I'm gonna see if Wooper can get Dig. I know Wooper can learn Earthquake, but Wooper learns that by itself. It's one of the weird benefits to using Wooper is that it does indeed learn, why can't I English? It learns Earthquake all on its own, so you don't actually need to invest anything extra in teaching that. Alright, yeah, and I don't think we need to teach anything else there. Although I just realized there might be a few places where we can cut on this upcoming route, so I might actually want Bidoof back. Alright, anyway, let's see. Oh, here we go, Quick Balls! So, Quick Balls. I was already talking about them, so we're going to go ahead and buy a few, just in case. Anyway, Quick Balls, yay! I love having access to them. They give me pretty much the option to do what you can do in Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is to just throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon right away and catch it immediately. Alright, anywhoozin'. Yeah, having cut might have made this route a bit easier, but I'll see what we can do without it. Or I think Bidoof can learn it. Anyway, this is another route with Perpetual Rain, so if you're using a fire type, it's going to do not very good for any battles you may get into while you are on this route. Eh. Oh my goodness, this rain is causing so much lag. Why is it raining? I don't want it to rain. Are you a spinner? Alright, yeah, since we're having to run through the grass, let's go ahead and pop one of our repels. Alright. Yay, TMO6, Toxic. So, Toxic is one of the moves they have actually very heavily limited the access to in later generations. So in Generation 8, it is no longer a TM or even the somewhat newly introduced Technical Record, or TR. So, Toxic is not as widely available as it used to be. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah. This route, or rather, as you can see with the marsh, if you get stuck in it, you have to keep running around until you get loose. So that makes the marsh very tedious to navigate. Usually you can just tell which parts of the swamp you'll sink into. They'll be a darker color than the rest. I can't really tell on my perfectly legitimate PC copy of the game, but maybe you'd be able to see it if you are playing along on your own perfectly legitimate copy of Pokemon Platinum. Or if your eyes work better than mine, I could just have really shitty eyes. Anyway, Goldeen here has the ability Swift Swim, so it gets a speed boost as long as it's raining. How you swim through the rain, I have no idea, but that's not the point. The point is we KO'd it in 2 hits because we got a critical hit, and that is always fun. And Super gained experience points, yay! And she's sending out a B-Barrel, oh my goodness. So yeah, B-Barrel is the evolved form of Bidoof, if it wasn't already obvious by them both starting with B. And yeah, B-Barrel isn't particularly a particularly good battler. I mean, it has some neat assets like the ability Simple, which doubles all of its stat changes, so it's very good at setting up. And it is a normal water type, and there is nothing in this generation that resists that combination of stab moves. So with while being able to get a same type attack bonus on anything, B-Barrel can hit any Pokemon for at least neutral damage. Oh wait, no, never mind. There is one thing that resists that type combination, and that is Giratina. I lied. I am very sorry about that, folks. Alright, anyway, this house here is also important. They trade shards for moves, so this chart here, you can check what moves they can teach, how many shards you need to teach that, and yada yada yada. Anyway, so Ice Punch, for example, I would need 2 red shards and 6 blue shards. How many shards do I have? Let's see, I got 2 yellow, 2 blue, and I think that's it for now. Anyway, shards are mostly found in the Grand Underground, so you'd have to do that to get more shards. It's not, well, I mean, it's somewhat tedious to get shards, but it's perfectly possible to get them. All right, looks like we're gonna have to go down because I don't have Cut with me. I mean, I could teach it to Fire Pun or Plant Pun. Are you gonna... yeah, I think I'm gonna have to battle this guy. I don't want to battle this guy. And we're getting more lag. No. And he's a collector. Oh, Umbreon, that's neat. Alrighty. Let's see here. Well, let's go ahead and see how much we do with Dragon Rage, but I know how much we do with the Dragon Rage. We'll do 40. And yeah, we're at the point where Dragon Rage is no longer a 2-hit KO. So I'd have to use 3 Dragon Rages to KO Umbreon, because Umbreon is a tanky boy. Ugh, we're doing even less with Slash. Yeah, unfortunately when trainers use Umbreon, they tend to be very annoying with it. They'll spam Sand Attack and other things like that. It's super annoying to face an Umbreon in-game just because of the way the AI works. And admittedly, Umbreon is not a very good Pokemon to use yourself. Because Umbreon is a tanky evolution, or evolution, I should say. So it doesn't really have very good attacking stats, but it can take hits really well for you. That said, even with all that in mind, it's still not all that great. So I would not recommend it too much. And then here we have Espion. Now let's go ahead and swap to our Fire Puns. Although in the rain, Fire Pun's probably not going to be able to deal. Seriously, I should have just stayed in if you were going to spam Sand Attack like a... Okay, anyway, let's go for Fire Fang. And I should probably see if there's anything I want to keep around that can learn Aerial Ace, because this is annoying. I think Fire Pun can learn Aerial Ace, and if Fire Pun can learn Aerial Ace, I would be super happy. Because we have missed twice in a row with Fire Fang, because of one accuracy drop. There we go, there we go. I'm not bitter. And yeah, that didn't even do that much damage. Okay, let's switch back to our Land Shark. Swapping out resets the stat drops. It's part of the reason why reducing your opponent's stats isn't as useful as increasing your own if you wanted to go the route of either boofing or deboofing. Boofing will generally be better because your Pokemon's stats will remain strong as long as you keep them in, so you just have to put yourself in a situation where you don't need to swap out, and then you are good. Alright, anyway, it looks like this... Oh wait, no, it's used Confusion before. Alright, well, it doesn't matter now, we KO'd it, hooray! Yay, and Super's gaining a bunch of experience points too. Very super of our Wooper. Okay, let's see, healing items. Oh, right, and I keep forgetting to mention it. So that one item we picked up, the Magma Riser, that is a held item for a trade evolution. You give that to Magmar, and then you trade it away, and then it will evolve into Magmortar. Oh god, the lag is horrible here. Alright, Silver Wind. Silver Wind is another interesting 60 base power move. So, Silver Wind, what it will do when you use it is it has a slight chance to boost all of your stats. It'll give each stat one stage boost. So, yeah, very slight chance, but possibly worth it, I guess. Alright, and since we're lagging enough as it is, I'm gonna go ahead and use Repel. Alright, and then that was a trick I actually learned from the speed run. If you press select to move an item, it actually allows you to navigate the menu even faster. Alright, and using cut will allow us to avoid a trainer, so we're gonna go ahead and teach it. And I was right, Plant Pun can learn it too. Alright, let's go ahead and drop Flash. I don't think we'll need that anymore. There we go, there we go. Alright, but it looks like we are going to have to deal with a double battle there. I was hoping to avoid too many unnecessary battles, but there are lots of battles. No. And unfortunately, the Pokemon I wanted to get to, while there is a faster way to have gotten to it, that part of the route is blocked off. So you do have to go around. It's annoying and I hate it. I don't know who came up with it, but they should be... They deserve the same fate as whoever decided that you needed 50 Terra Shards to do things. Yeah. And then we can all thank our lovely plant pun for all of this tedium, because I wouldn't even be doing this if she had just evolved like a good little plant pun. But then again, it probably works out better for us overall. Anyway, this will be Super's first battle, and there's a Monferno for us to battle against. So Monferno is the evolution of Chimchar. So this is the Monferno you are guaranteed to see if you did not start with Turtwig or Chimchar. So, yay! And unfortunately, Meryl's using Aqua Ring, and we don't seem to be doing that much damage with Slash. Maybe I should have deleted Sand Tomb instead. Why'd you go after Whooper? Or, sorry, Super! I have to remember to use my nicknames because I know for a fact the game won't ever. Why don't they use their nicknames anyway? So, Anyway, yeah, if I had held on to Takedown instead of dropping, yeah, if I had held on to Takedown instead of Sand Tomb, then Landshark would have 2 physical normal type moves to work with. I guess I could use one of the 2 return TMs I've got access to, but I don't really want to use one on Landshark here. Leafeon? Oh my goodness, it's raining. This is a disaster. And Leafeon is a grass-type Pokemon. You know what the one thing that Whooper is weak to? It rhymes with ass because it's grass. Oh no. Alright, but I think this dig will knock out Monferno, so we now have a 2-on-1 battle against Leafeon. And I have an idea. Alright, so that's Super growing to level 27. That is very significant. Whooper actually evolves at level 20. But because you can't really catch it before you encounter one before level 20, that doesn't really matter. Whooper basically just evolves as soon as it gains a level. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to have Landshark use Sandstorm, changing the weather from rain to sun. Or not sun, to sand. And the importance of changing the weather to Sandstorm is that fire-type moves are no longer being reduced. Let's see, and then the other benefits of sand, as you can see, it damages every Pokemon that is not ground, rock, or steel at the end of every turn. And of course we messed with Fire Fang. Why do I even use it? Ugh. I mean, it's supposed to be stronger than Ember. Emphasis on supposed to, but considering how often it misses, it might as well not be. You know what? Screw this. We are going straight for the Amber. And you KO'd my Landshark. Ugh. Well, it's too late to turn back now. We are getting ever closer to our destination. I think we can make it there safely. Alright, anyway, but first, Super is going to evolve! There we go, and it hasn't gotten any less cute from evolution, because Quagsire is just that adorable. Alright, let's see. Do I have a revive I can use? I do. I got plenty. You know what? Let's go ahead and pop one. Although Landshark has almost no moves left to work with anyway, so I think we're going to go ahead and have her sit out the rest of these battles, and we're going to have Super try to take charge. charge. Now that it's a Quagsire and its stats are as high as they naturally will get, without effort values naturally, we should be Gouda. Alright, anyway. Moving on. Let's see. I think I need to pop another repel here, so let's do that. Oh, no, never mind. I still got a repel going. Alright, there. That's when the repel wore off, but we don't need to worry about that. Let us circle around here. We'll be back for those berries. Turn away. There we go, there we go. And I think... yeah, and I believe these guys, these police officers, they will only battle you at night, I think. Yeah, looks like they're not going to battle me at this time of day, so we're Gouda. So the importance of coming all the way up here is that this is Hearthome City. I didn't demonstrate it, but if you had tried to leave through the south exit, there would have been, I think, a cameraman and an interview lady blocking the way. Hearthome City is not the reason I have gone all the way around, but it is those people who would have been blocking the way if I had tried to go directly south are the reason I had to go all the way around. Now, there's a mansion on that route directly to the south of Hearthome City that has the other Pokemon I want to catch. So we are going to do that. Alrighty, here we go, here we go. Stupid lag, why do you have to exist? Nobody likes you. Alright, anyway, and yeah, by revealing that that's pretty much where I wanted to go, that means that I've pretty much spoiled the Pokemon I am planning on catching. It's gonna be Pikachu. Yeah, so Pikachu, while it is the mascot of Pokemon, I do not believe it gets a lot of use in the Sinnoh region, simply because there are usually other Pokemon that are more easily available to fill whatever role Pikachu could have filled for your group of critters. So, because the earliest available electric type is Shinx, so you don't even really need to wait all that long to have access to electric type Pokemon. And then, on top of that, ooh, there's an item over there. We're gonna go pick that up. Anyway, on top of that, you can also even catch Pachirisu before Pikachu is available. And then there is that TM for Shockwave, which a lot of Psychic-type Pokemon, such as Kadabra, can learn. And, so if you need access to strong Electric-type moves, you don't really need to wait for Pikachu. Anywhoozin, this is the Trophy Garden. There are wild Pokemon in here. I do believe it changes daily, but they tend to be of the rarer variety. There's a Pichu, but I believe we can catch wild Pikachus here. So let me... well, I've got 3 Quick Balls. Let's go ahead and throw a Quick Ball at this Pichu here, considering how long it's been taking Badoo to evolve through Friendship. I don't really want to have to Friendship evolve this Pichu. So let me make absolutely sure that we can capture a wild Pikachu here. And then if we can, I'll go directly for that. Let's see here. Let's see. Pearl Platinum. Yes, I have a 10% chance of finding a Pikachu. Oh, hooray for the odds. So we don't need to use this Pichu. But if I just get bored or tired of that or whatever, we have Pichu. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward ahead until we get the Pikachu. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, here we go. We have found a Pikachu. And unfortunately, Landshark got put to sleep. I ran into a wild Roselia, and I figured I'd try to catch it for shenanigans. As you can see, the Pikachu here is level 24. That Roselia I found was level 23. So I tried to catch it thinking, you know what I could do? I could use a repel with this Roselia up front, and then that would mean I can only run into the level 24 encounters, which would be Pikachu and Staravia. But it popped out of the ball and used Grass Whistle. All right, anyway, nickname for the Pikachu. Well, it is a lovely little mouse. Yeah, let's just call it Disney. All right. That's usually what I name my mouse Pokemon anyway. Well, let's see. So, Disney. Let's see. EY. Anyway, the whole reason I am going with a Pikachu for this playthrough is because... stalling tactic. Because Pikachu is actually my nephew's favorite Pokemon. Most favoriteest Pokemon ever made, ever. Alright, and then we just have to make it back to town, and there is a random trainer I could potentially end up having to battle if we do that. Or, yeah, on the way back. So, I am going to... Oh, yay, we can learn Aerial Ice. You know what? We're going to learn that right now. I know Lantra can do it too, but we don't care about that. Let's drop Scratch. Anyway, enough stalling. We're going to try and make our way back to town, and we're going to withdraw that Pikachu, nicknamed Disney, and we're going to go from there. There are other things going on in that mansion that I could mention, but I don't feel like mentioning the mansion right now, so we will save that for when we loop back around here again. I forgot to pick these berries. All right, anyway. But yeah, Pikachu, from what I could tell in every version of the game that takes place here in Sinnoh, Pikachu has a 10% chance of showing up when at any time of the day. Its only levels in Platinum can be 22 or 24, and Diamond and Pearl, I think it can be 17 or 18. That can make it a little bit trickier to encounter, but I believe in Diamond and Pearl you can also get here much earlier, especially since they expect Fantina to be the 5th gym leader instead of the 3rd, which actually makes Maylene the 4th. I don't know why. I think I called her the 3rd earlier, but no, she's the 4th. All right, anyway. So the neat things to keep in mind about Pikachu for an in-game playthrough is that it can actually evolve. Shocking, I know. Pikachu actually does have an evolved form. Who knew? And while Raichu has higher stats in pretty much every area, if Pikachu has an item called a Light Ball, it might potentially be better to leave it as a Pikachu. This Pikachu does not have a Light Ball. It has an Oron Berry. But since I do not need it to be a Raichu until we get to the gym after the next gym, I can put off evolving it for now. I can put off evolving it, so that way I think... Well, the theory is Pikachu is in... not Pikachu. Raichu, its evolved form, its name is Raichu. Many of you may not know that. Raichu might be in a slower experience group than Pikachu. So, if I leave it as a Pikachu, it'll probably gain more experience faster. Right, let's look at her stats, by the way. Let's see. Rash nature, likes dry food. So I believe that is a nature that boosts special attack. It's not one of the important ones, though. The only important special attack boosting nature is modest, because that cuts into your physical attack. Although it might have been better for Pikachu to be a physical attacker, because Pikachu actually does have higher physical attack than special attack. Alright, and... finally, to round out this episode, let's use a few more of RTMs. So I'm going to go ahead and pop Shockwave onto Disney. So that way we have an electric type move on her if we need her to use one. We're definitely keeping Thunder Wave. Let's drop Slam. Slam is stupid. Nobody likes Slam. Alright, anyway. So Disney now knows Shockwave. One other useful move that we can teach at this moment is Grass Knot. So, Grass Knot, the TM we got for defeating the second gym leader. It's actually a widely available grass type move, so that makes it very useful for coverage. We'll drop Double Team. I'm not the AI. I do not care about relying on stupid tactics. Alright, anyway. So that makes up pretty much everything we need to get done. So I'm gonna go ahead and heal up, and I'll call that here. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.